Hourglass Science, 2 minutes on the hourglass. Let's talk about tissue layers and eventually body cavities. When we started off with sponges, we didn't have any tissue layers. We didn't have organs, we didn't have tissues. We had a community of cells that made up an organism. One of the first organisms, the origins of most multicellular organisms. After that, we started getting tissue layers. We came up with two. These two tissue layers come from two germ layers, and it's called diploblastic. Diploblastic means that the building layers, blastic meaning to build, come up with how the body is formed. So when you first start doing this, you have an ectoderm, which is pretty much the skin, and an endoderm, which most of the time becomes the lining of the gut. If you think about yourself as a donut, eventually, we'll come back to that. The ectoderm becomes the skin, and the endoderm becomes the gut, and the middle part, as far as cnidarians, jellies, sea anemones, is mesoglia. They pack as much mesoglia as they possibly can to make themselves gelatinous. So you might see whenever you cut a jellyfish in half, from the top to the bottom, you have an ectoderm and an endoderm, and mesoglia in the middle, which just means middle glue. Once you go beyond that, you have three tissue layers, and finally we're at the end of our tissue layer creation. You have an ectoderm, now a mesoderm in the middle instead of mesoglia, and you have an endoderm. Once you do this, you have the ability to make body cavities. But first, you start off with acoelomates. Acoelomates are flatworms. They have an ectoderm and a mesoderm and a endoderm. It's pretty much like folding this in half, like this, and making so they're flat. They have an ectoderm and an ectoderm, and on the inside, you have the guts, if you want to. The mesoderm is trapped between, and there's really no body cavity to be had. The only thing is that they have a hollow for their guts, but their whole thing is just one flat piece. Flatworms, acoelomates. I think that's the time we'll get into true body cavities and false body cavities in the next episode.